Thank you for joining us to discuss the growing opportunities for women in the Middle East tourism industry. I'm Elizabeth Maclean, and I'm the co-managing director of Herdwick Communications, and I'm delighted to be joined by Dr. Lubna Salim Al-Mazroei, Manager of Economic Diversification Investments for the Oman Investment Authority.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And I would like to thank Ibrahim and the ITIC team for inviting me and for giving me the opportunity to talk about my career experience and story, as well as to talk about tourism in Oman and about their growing role in the tourism sector.
So as we want to have as much time as possible, we're going to jump straight into the discussion. So from my experience of the region, women need to have three things that come together to help them embark on their careers. Firstly, it's the family, it's the school, and the prospective employer. Can you explain your own journey and whether that was the case?
Yes, I had a very interesting journey in entering into the field of tourism. And this was in the mid-1990s when I completed high school. And I decided to enter into this field. And I had to take this education abroad because at that time there was no education institution in Oman offering tourism. Tourism was also still new and growing in Oman. It was not yet the norm at that time to take an education and a career opportunity in this industry. So of course, my parents were skeptical at the beginning because of the reasons I just mentioned. I managed to convince them and to get their support. Particularly, I had a very strong intuition that this is the path I should take, which I pursued. And I've never looked back. It was one of the best decisions I've ever taken.
It was a very, very interesting story. I mean, you've enjoyed a very interesting career spanning 20 years. And if you're not uniquely, that has involved education, planning, and investment. Perhaps you can share with us some insights of your own career path.
Yes, I was very fortunate to be able to work in the different areas of tourism. So when we look at the academic side, I've been able to lecture in Oman and abroad at various institutions that offered tourism education. And this was my way to give back to the community and to raise and to share my knowledge about tourism. I also did research about Omani women in tourism through my master's and PhD research. And this is again the way for me to raise awareness about the growing role of Omani women in this sector. When we look at the practical side of things, I've been able to work in the various areas in the supply chain in the industry, starting from travel agencies to operators, to holding strategic positions in policy and planning, and to the recent position that I'm holding now in overseeing local investments in the tourism sector. So this is how I made my way up in my career and gained the experience I have. And I would say this gave me a unique competitive advantage. And this is what I would recommend everyone to approach, particularly for women. Tourism is a dynamic and multidisciplinary industry with exciting opportunities to pursue. The nature of the work in the sector gives you the opportunity for personal development, as well as to develop interpersonal and technical skills that will help you with your career growth and find your own unique competitive advantage as well.
Thank you very much for sharing those insights. I think as a role model, it's important that we highlight what opportunities there are available for women in the tourism sector. If we move the discussion on, the Sustainable Development Goals 4 and 5 underscore that equitable access to education empowers individuals. You're the first chairperson of the Board of Trustees at Oman Tourism College. Can you share some of the initiatives in education that are underway to help women consider a career in tourism? And I know that's been highlighted earlier in the panel discussions this morning, the importance of education.
So yes, tourism is considered one of the main industries in Oman to help diversify the economy and to create employment opportunities. And this has been there since the 1990s and has grown since. Now, to enable this, you need to prepare the locals to work in the sector. And to do so, you need to have a strong education training system in place to meet the needs of the sector. And this was particularly important for Oman because Oman's people's acceptance of tourism as a source of employment at the time was limited because of religious, social, and cultural concerns due to the nature of the work, and this was particularly with women. So the government at the time established the Oman Tourism College in 2001 to help prepare locals to work in the tourism sector, as well as a way to change their perceptions. And this has been successful. So when the college started, there was only about 80 female students. I'm proud to say that today we have over 400 female students studying at the college, and this shows the increasing interest and awareness for Omani women to work in this industry. And now you can find Omanis, including women working in the different areas, including hotels, restaurants, tour guides, and airlines. So besides the training and education program at the college, they also launched an awareness network in 2015 called Lady Leaders in Tourism Network. It's basically a platform that provides women to meet, to discuss, and to network, as well as a way to encourage other women to participate in the sector.
The UNWTO report highlighted that women make up 54% of the workforce in tourism. Women are also influencing government policy, with 23% of tourism ministers are women. What initiatives are being implemented to encourage more women into the sector and to attain those leadership positions, most importantly?
Yes, so to encourage more locals, including women, to work in the sector, further plans and efforts have been put in place through our national tourism strategy, where we have a dedicated theme for human capital, and we started implementing new initiatives in relation to employment, training, and education. And it's very important to have a strong human capital system in place in order to meet our national strategy target in employing about 500,000, creating 500,000 jobs by 2040, direct and indirect jobs. So one example, an outcome from these initiatives, we now have a dedicated human capital department at the Ministry of Heritage and Tourism in Oman, that is overseeing all the human capital needs of the sector, and they work very closely with the private sector. And this is a department I helped to establish, and it is actually managed largely by women who are leading these efforts. Another good example also we launched last year through our tourism development company, Umran. We have a program called I Am Tourism, and Arabi is طموحي السياحة. It provides direct and indirect as well jobs for Omanis to work. So there's a lot of efforts taking place. Now, when we come to leadership positions, Elizabeth, as tourism grew, Omani women have played a role in it. So, for example, when the Ministry of Tourism was established in 2004, the first minister was a woman. We also had a woman leading the role of a tourism undersecretary since 2012 for over 12, for about 8 years. So both women have played a major role in the development of the sector in Oman, which you can see present today when you visit our country.
It's great to hear of these initiatives acting as a catalyst for opportunities for growth. If we move the discussion on now, I'd like to ask you about the intrinsic role played by the aviation sector. You are the second woman to be vice chairperson of Oman Air's board. Can you describe how air connectivity enables growth and prosperity through trade, tourism, and an investment in Oman?
Yes, definitely. Air connectivity is an important enabler for the economic growth of Oman, and we've been able to do this through our national carrier, Oman Air, which has been connecting Oman to the world since 1993. And this is more specifically evident in tourism, where Oman's strategic development is largely focused on meeting the international targets with the international markets according to the targets that we set for the sector. So the airline flies to 41 destinations, and last year they carried over 2.5 million passengers. Moreover, last year the airline joined the One World Alliance, again further connecting Oman to the world to more destinations. Now, if we just go back to the point when we talked about increasing Omani women in tourism, Oman Air plays a major role in that. Today, 30% of their employees are females from the 3,800 employees that they employ.
That's a great target.
Yeah, these women are holding highly skilled positions. We have a pilot, we have air stewardesses holding managerial and supervisor positions, and so on. So our national carrier plays a major role for the sector development, and this is very important in order to meet our national target, where we're looking to attract over 11 million visitors to Oman by 2040.
Well, that's a great target. Before our session ends, I'd like to ask, what are the key strategic investment projects that are underway to support the growth of tourism in Oman?
Okay, so previously our investment was largely focused on hospitality-related project and mixed-use tourism project, which were largely focused in Muscat and Dhofar Governorate. These projects, of course, we continue to provide such opportunities. However, we are now looking to expand our offering in tourism in looking at other governments in Oman and to further benefit from our rich cultural heritage and the unspoiled landscape by having key strategic investment projects focused on creating new destinations, experiences, events, to niche markets when we're looking at the MICE, agri-tourism, and cultural tourism, and so on. So we have already executed a large number of projects and pipeline projects that are underway. Now, in general, we have about 363 tourism projects worth of an investment value of 7 billion.
Gosh.
And we've been able so far to secure 2.29 billion. This is all Omani riyals out of the targeted that we have set for 5 years to 2025. So this is a very good sustainable progress because we're looking by 2040 to invest about 19 billion into the tourism sector, and this will come largely from the private sector. So we have a lot of exciting and attractive investment opportunities, and we invite investors to consider these opportunities.
Well, it sounds a very interesting few years ahead.
Yes.
We'd now like to ask if anybody has a question that you would like to put to Dr. Lubna, so that you can take part in the discussion. Does anybody want to raise a question? But if not, I do have one final question for you. What was the best piece of advice that you received when you started your career?
That's a very difficult question. I received lots of good advices as I worked through my career. So one good advice I would like to share, and when I started my career, was all work, no play makes you a dull person. So definitely it's important to take care of all areas of your life, and this is particularly important for women as we have a lot of responsibilities. So to do so, I recommend that you focus on 3 things. Set your time boxes for your daily routine, set your boundaries and stick to them, and have a good support system around you, whether from your partner, your family, and friends.
Well, I think that's a very good place for us to end for today's session. Oh, we have one question. Thank you. I hope you were inspired by the last point from Dr. Lubna.
Hello? Oh, yes, hi. My name is Anika. I'm from Dubai. I actually am a healthcare professional by background and have been working with the big pharmaceutical clients in global marketing. So I'm very interested to see what the plans are in terms of investment in the healthcare sector in Oman. And the second question is, when you mentioned MICE and events, what sort of events is Oman planning to deliver over the course of the next few years?
I'll answer quickly. So as you're coming from the healthcare area, one of the areas we're looking to focus on is medical tourism. And as well as wellness. As you know, we have a lot of beautiful natural landscapes. So we have the opportunity to have wellness programs, as well as we're looking to have unique medical facilities available in Oman where tourists can come in as well. Now, answering to your second question, we are looking, when we talk about MICE, one good example I would like to give is to have live events, more live events in Oman, as well as to have a unique event to help Oman stand out, something according to our culture and heritage. So this is where we're going ahead because we believe events plays a major role in promoting the country.
So thank you very much for your questions. We hope that we have inspired, motivated and encouraged you to consider a career in the tourism industry, highlighted the opportunities for future women leaders in the tourism sector and shared some insights from Oman. As Oman says, beauty has an address. So thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Lubna.
Thank you,
I
Elizabeth.
enjoyed our discussion.
Thank you so much.